My husband and I have been together for over 20 years. We had a number of problems in the beginning of our relationship, constant fighting and bickering, treating each other badly, and just generally being quite toxic to each other. It all came to a head in 2009 around Christmas, because I didn't enter our daughter's name in a charity for presents. We fought about it because we had almost nothing to put under the tree that year, and it was going to be a miserable holiday. The argument got so bad, over the phone, that he told me to pack his shit. He was leaving me. I was so angry at him that I decided that yes, this needed to happen, and I threw all his clothes in a bag and had it waiting for him when he came home. He left to go stay with his aunt and her children, while I kept the house and our daughter. It doesn't really matter, but this daughter was not his, she was mine from a previous relationship. I didn't know some of this at the time, but there was this girl that his aunt was friends with that had a layover in our city for about 24 hours. The aunt and the girl came to our house to pick up my husband, before this all happened, and since I'd heard a lot about her, I introduced myself and gave her a hug. I never do that, I don't like touching people, but I was trying to be friendly. My husband went with the two of them, and apparently they hit it off. This was right before Christmas. So when we separated and he went to his aunt's house, it's because he was getting involved with this girl. For several months we were going back and forth fighting, then seeing each other, then fighting again. I was desperately upset and wanted my husband back, but he was too angry with me for always being difficult to get along with. He was equally hard to deal with, but he was entirely uncompromising and refused to come home. I remember one time that he stopped at the house to pick up something and talk briefly, and I literally got down on my knees and begged him to come home. He refused and demanded I stop acting like that. I was terribly embarrassed by doing that, but I really thought he might change his mind. Then I found out that he had been sleeping with that girl. She came back to our town on and off for several months, and then he decided to travel down to where she lived too. Out of nowhere, he broke it off with her and decided to come back to me. We fought on and off a little bit, but things were just often quite tense and awkward. I thought we were going to be getting through it, until I woke up in the middle of the night to see the light on and the computer screen open to email. My husband was nowhere to be found. I got up and went to sit at the computer, only to see the email address was missing her name at whatever.com. I was devastated to see that. Then I heard him outside on the porch. It was 3 a.m. and he was on the phone with her. Again, he left me and I was just too tired to fight it anymore. My grandmother died that April. She and I were close, and my husband and I cared for her at the end of her life. I called him to tell him she passed and he was entirely unfazed. The girl was in the background telling him he shouldn't even be bothered by it, and we got off the phone pretty fast. I was really upset, but I handled all the business by myself and started getting on with my life. I decided to fix up the house so I would spend my night hours when I couldn't sleep either painting the house or doing extra chores. I was still friendly with his aunt, even though it was her terrible friend that took my husband, and she would encourage me to date. I decided to see this one guy she knew, and he was pretty into me, which made me feel better. Then one night, I get a message that my husband was trying to contact me. I had blocked him on everything, but I decided to let him reach me from a new account. He said that he woke up suddenly and found himself in the same city as her, where he'd been for a couple of weeks, and realized that he'd made a horrible mistake. He wanted to come home for good now and leave her behind. I told him absolutely not. I had moved on and didn't want him anymore. He begged and I was not having it. He said that he was on his way to the airport, he had a ticket, and he would walk to our house if I wasn't willing to pick him up. I told him to F off. I had a date that night and I didn't care about whether or not he came back. I did end up picking him up, but I was still mad. He vowed to make it up to me, that we would work things out. At first I was indifferent, but he really tried. We started things up again within the next few weeks, and he really did stay away from the other girl. Within 6 months, we were in a good spot, and we actually got pregnant. Almost a year to the day that he left me, we found out. He was so good to me after that. It was like it always should have been. We had our baby and never heard from that girl again. Now here's my problem. I still can't get over it. Every so often, and last night especially, I have nightmares about him with another girl. He tells me in the dream that we can't be together anymore, and to leave him alone. Sometimes it's only a short dream, and I try to push it off and not tell him about it. But then last night I must have had 3 or 4 dreams about it. He woke me up this morning out of a dream because he heard me crying. I wake up feeling confused, hurt, and mad at him. I feel like it's real every time. He's so different than he ever was back then. And we really have resolved our issues. We don't even really fight at all anymore. We love each other very much. But I'm stuck with these resentful feelings that just won't go away. I mentioned something to him recently that I still struggle with feelings about those days. And he says that there's nothing he can do about it now. It's a me problem apparently. I do trust him around other women. That's not my issue. I feel like this will never heal, that I was betrayed and made a fool of, that it could so easily be under my nose and other people knew, specifically his aunt, my brother and his wife, and even his aunt's kids saw them doing sexual things like making out. And I was callously dropped from his life in favor of some slut. What if she came back? Would he still feel the same? It's too hard to even talk about. I don't know what I hope to gain from this post. I know therapy is the only answer to really working through this. I just wish I could tell the girl to her face how badly this fucked me up, but I also don't want to give her the satisfaction. It's so messed up. I refuse to vacation in the city where they went. It's in our state and a major vacation destination. And her name is the same as a continent, so every time I hear this name I get reminded and upset. It's so stupid, I wish it would just go away.